Hi everyone, thank you for joining us at the Certified Thermographers Network in Africa. I am Ray and I am talking to you today about emissivity. Why is emissivity so important for thermographers? And I can tell you it is the most important setting on your thermal imaging camera. Have a look at these 5 coffee mugs. Different surfaces for all of them. From your left you have a polished stainless steel, then a painted stainless steel, then a sandblasted stainless steel, a ceramic coffee mug that we are mostly used to, and then again a stainless steel mug with some electrical tape or insulation tape around it. So what happens if we add some heat to it? And the heat source for this is normal hot water from a kettle. We've boiled the water and we adding the water to all of the cups from the same kettle. That's important to notice. The water is supposed to be the same temperature across the 5 cups, or at least very close to each other. But because of the different surfaces of the cups, we immediately see there's some temperature differences, isn't it? Even from the first cup to the second cup, immediately there's a difference. If we look at the temperatures from the thermal imaging camera, it ranges from just under 40 degrees Celsius to just under 90 degrees Celsius. That is a huge temperature difference for the same water. That is emissivity. Have a look at this one. The cable coming in on the bottom of this fuse holder, we can see that it's heated, but then the temperature drops completely away to the lug and the connector, the screw that's holding the lug onto the fuse holder, and then it heats up again for the fuse holder. This should not happen. Heat should stay the same, isn't it? And again, it's because of emissivity. If we look at the visual image, we can clearly see the polymer insulation of the cable, but then a nice and shiny stainless steel lug and connector. In other words, a lot of reflection from the stainless steel, whereas we're getting some emittance from the cable, and therefore emissivity. It's the ability of something to be able to emit heat. Have a look at this image of a contactor where there's a lot of heat on the cable and a lot of heat on the contactor. But the connection point, the bolt and the nut completely cools down because it's not emitting. It's got a very low emissivity. If it's not emitting, it is reflecting, and that is actually reflecting ambient temperature back into the thermal imaging camera. Again, this fuse holder, if we look at the top right connection, the cable is extremely hot, or let's say just very hot, but again the screw or the connector part cools down. In other words, it's that shiny metal that's reflecting the temperature surrounding, not the actual temperature of the fuse holder. This is a very interesting one if we're looking at this terminal block. Bottom of the cable, 63 degrees Celsius, top of the cable, 61. But in between it cools down, 53, 51, which shouldn't be. In other words, something is happening. So it's very important for thermographers to understand emissivity. And that's a very big part of what we discuss in our training sessions. So if you are interested in a one-day basic training session for infrared thermography, we have 2 dates, 2nd of October and 4th of October. You can still join us. Have a look at ctn-a.org. ctn-a.org, or ask us for more information at info@ctn-a.org. We look forward to seeing you in our training sessions. Thank you very much.